the news right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the Breaking News Anchorer. This is a new thing that we're doing in the Efed world. This is the owner of Titan Nation Alliance, which is proudly show owner of both Monday Night Inferno and Thursday Night Lockdown. Now, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about here on this show. And one of those things is how good is it to be in a family that appreciates, that loves, that shows its positivity, and gets hated on because of one simple reason, is because we don't want to be like other people. We want to branch ourselves out. We want to be entirely our own, which means we want to stay away from the drama, the negativity. We want to do the positivity of changes, not bringing personal life vendettas or personal hatred or anything that is negative in this company. And there's a lot of things we're going to talk about during the podcast. Not only that, let's talk about, the tag team match that we recently had. Nick Cayenne screwing out VOD for the tag titles, the new hardcore champion Colin Klein, and we got a lot of other stuff to talk about. I mean, it's just going to be one of those, talk shows that, we're going to sit down and talk exactly what we need to talk about. And coming on this, on this little talk show, and it is simple. We're here to make a show stand out. Make it stand out to where everybody could be a part of. It's pretty much has no drama. The only thing that I asked is you guys hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button for more content such as this and more to come. Now, we're going to take it on down a little bit down on the show here. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. Our friendships with, JTV. Another thing that I'm going to talk about here. I mean, JTV's been one of the tremendous companies giving us the platform that we used to not only get my call out, but also, just saying a little bit about my shows. So, props to JTV for Kevin Impact for his love and, supporting the channel when he can. So much love and appreciation on that side. The thing is, we're going to move it over to TNA's first before we get into JTV stuff, because there's a lot of things that I want to say personally that stands out with JTV and their production, and a lot of things that they do good on. I'm not going to talk bad about them. But for TNA, we got a pay-per-view for the pre-show coming up. There's going to be a couple of pre-show matches. We got Ryan Storm's character Storm and Nixon's character Ragnarsson, and also King Dominator competing for the Extreme Championship. You got guys that literally wants to tear the house down for the company of TNA. We got Nick Cayenne, another JTV guy, Colin Klein, another JTV guy, Mark Banham, another JTV guy, Dan, another JTV guy. I mean, we got a lot of JTV guys that's joining. Also, there's rumors and speculation going around, guys, of not being paying attention about a women's superstar. We talked a little bit more on that as it needs to come out. Now, the women's superstar, it could be many things. Who did I bring in to this? We're going to find out if you watch the Rumble pay-per-view, because the Rumble pay-per-view is going to be about 5 to 6 parts. So stay tuned for that. Going to be an interesting night of events, but as far as TNA, that will conclude the TNA part to this little talk show. Now we're going to move it on over to the JTV side. Kevin Impact has been a great person to work with. A lot of JTV guys coming in my company. Like I said, you got Colin, you got Mark, you got Dan, you got Jason King, which is Alex King on my side. I mean, there's a lot of JTV guys that, came into the company and, showed a lot of love. So shout out to JTV for, having that support and having that positivity back in the call community. I mean, the JTV guys, they deserve love, much love too. And there's a thing that I love about Kevin Impact, the way he does JTV. He makes it feel like it's home. He makes it feel like, you're appreciated, that you're, that there's no drama. It's pretty much like a family where, you get along and, you get to do the storylines. You get to do all that other stuff that the wrestling business has. And, like I said, much love and respect for JTV for what they do as far as the product. And much appreciation. Like I said, I will always be a JTV guy in my heart, and currently training under the JTV system. So who knows? You may see CJ Mondo maybe be a JTV champion. But as that topic goes, that is one for the books for the JTV side. Now we move it over to Pro Wrestling Alliance. You got Alex King that, just started the company that, it's like me and JTV that's, wanting to do positivity, wants to branch out and be a name that he can be successful over. And, it goes back to a lot of things that I stated. It goes back to, being the brotherhood, being, something that you don't see many call creators that has that potential or has that diehard to do. There's a lot of call creators that, they get mad because, you ban them, and then pretty much they lurk around your channel to see what they could do. That's what I call hatred. That's one thing that I can say JTV and Pro Wrestling Alliance does not have, and they don't have that hatred. And that's one thing I love about both of them. Much love and respect goes out to, not only Alex King, but also Kevin Impact for the shows that they do. I mean, guys, if you need a home, I highly recommend these two wonderful family-loving companies. They won't steer you wrong. Now, we get on the topic here on this, talk show that is going to be something spectacular. Our recent show, as you can see there, one of the JTV guys is now my hardcore champion in TNA. You got Colin Klein. I mean, he's been hardcore champion pretty much everywhere he's went to. He's pretty much made a name for himself. And, Colin's one of those JTV guys that, really stands out for the, call community. He's, all about positive. He just, loves the business and, loves the entirety of the business. And that's what makes a lot of people stand out like him and JTV, because they love the business. I mean, you can see it in their product. They love the call business, and they also love the wrestling business. But moving on from there, we're going to go on to our next thing. It goes back to what I said. Colin deserves the hardcore championship, and, I can't wait to see where he takes it. He's a JTV guy. Much respect to JTV, like I said before. Moving on to the topic of JTV, but, you got another JTV guy that, was in our main event. It screwed over the former tag champs VOD, Nick Cayenne. Nick's got a lot to answer for, because now he's not only got one Viking after him, he's got both. And to be honest, Nick, I don't know what you was thinking in that referee, but you should have called the match down the middle instead of the fast count. Now you have to answer why you did the things. And, who knows? We may bring Nick on this podcast. It's going to be interesting. We may bring Nick on this podcast just for your guys' entertainment to basically express why he done the things he did to screw over KD, not KD, my bad, over the Vikings of Destruction, Ragnarsson and Ragnar. You know, there's a lot of things we're going to talk about. You know, not only for my show, but JTV's. You know, they had their recent pay-per-view that was probably 2 weeks ago, Pumpkin Night. Maybe 3 weeks ago. I'm pretty sure that was 3 weeks, almost 2 to 3 weeks ago. Pumpkin Night, and then, you know, you had Royal Elimination, which was a damn good show. If you guys, you know, go watch that, I would say that, you know, back to back, 2 good shows going, you know, being a part of the community and doing what they do. Much love and appreciation to both QPW and JTV for that. And it really brings the heart and determination back in Kyle. And to be honest, the Kyle community, that's what it's missing. It's missing its not only thrill to survive, but also it's missing that perspective of just absolutely doing the right thing and positivity and all the things that it needs to stand out. You know, like I said on the group page, you know, that's a lot of things. The reason why the community is, you know, right now not really where it needs to be is because you got a lot of people that wants to do he said, she said topics. You got a lot of people that just, you know, wants to live that drama life, and to be honest, it's childish. You need to move on from it and just, you know, grow up. I mean, I'm just going to say it here on my podcast. Just grow up. Quit acting like a child. And that's the thing I'm going to say right here on the podcast. You know, people is probably going to get mad and, you know, try their little baby games, but I don't got time for it. But going back, you know, talking about JTV, Pro Wrestling Alliance, QPW, you know, those 3 companies are what I say lovable, and it's like being in a family that, you know, will accept you with open arms, that will pretty much love you as not only a call creator but also as yourself. So shout out to them, and can't wait to bring more into this, as this is the only time we got, so this is going to be a closing session. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this and we bring more to the channel. But like, subscribe, and comment, and subscribe for more content. Thank you.